Hi there, I'm Rachel, and thank you for joining tonight here on SBTV, or this afternoon, depending upon where you are, even in the morning if you're in Australia. So I am Rachel, as in Rachel G. Palmistry, and I'm going to be reading palms tonight. And then toward the end of the show, I'm going to be reading some cards if we have some time. And the deck that I chose for tonight, because Saturn and Neptune are in retrograde, and we can talk about that a little bit tonight. I have The Guardian of the Night, by MJ Cullinane. Now, why I chose this deck is because everything that is in this deck is nocturnal. So everything that only blooms in the shadows, anything that only kind of thrives and wakes up and does what it needs to do in the shadows. Because there's a lot of shadowy stuff going on right now with some planets being in retrograde, which directly affect what's going on in the type of palmistry that I do right now. So on the screen, well, first off, let me say, if you have any questions about any of the readings that I do tonight, and hopefully I get to as many people as possible, please just reach out to me. I love to hear from everybody. If you have questions about palmistry, if you have questions about anything I said about your hand, please find me, Rachel G. Palmistry. Just put it in, put that tag in. You are going to find me on whatever social media platform you go to. You are probably going to find me. You can even find me on sbtv.uk, okay, which is SPTV's website. And you can check out the article that I wrote about the certain planets going into retrograde, which are Saturn and Neptune, and exactly how and why it is affecting us at this moment. Okay, if you're interested, just click on magazine, latest news, and you will see my article on that. So, with all that being said, how do you send in your photos of your palms? Well, first off, only the hand that you write with, so your dominant hand, the hand that you would take a pen and sign your name on a piece of paper, that's your dominant hand. And you're going to do some hand yoga with your cell phone with your other hand and take a photo of the palm side of the hand that you write with, okay? So make sure you get from the wrist all the way out to every tip of every finger. And do not put the light behind it. No. Make sure the light is hitting the palm so that I can actually see all the lines that are on the palm. And with these short readings, because my readings can last and last, in a typical private reading on a one-on-one basis, it's usually about a half hour to 40 minutes. So what I do on situations like this, right? In situations like this is I will try to focus on whatever has like that little spotlight, just kind of like shines out at me, and that is what I will talk about. So obviously there's more to talk about, but whatever is just kind of like, choose me, I'm going to pick, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So if you have any questions, again, I'm going to say this again, just reach out to me. Now, if this hand that I'm going to be reading is the hand that you write with, that's called your dominant hand. That is your current life. That means that the hand that you do not write with, for me, because I'm right-handed, that would be my left hand. So that means that my left hand, all of the line work that's on the palm side of it, reflects the most poignant events in my most recent past life. Okay? We're not doing that tonight. We're only doing current life stuff. So, let's get to this. Are there any hellos, Richard? Okay. And there are, just so you know, I need to tell you that there is somebody out there with a social media account that is not me. So if anybody ever approaches you for a reading saying they are me, it's not me. It's really not. I do not go out and approach anybody to try to solicit readings with any clients. I have clients come to me, and that is how it is done, okay? If you are interested in having a reading, you come to me. I do not come to you and say, hey, would you like a reading? So please disregard any of those social media accounts because they do actually exist. And I've tried to report it, and it's not, they're just not going anywhere. Instead, they just keep moving around and kind of getting more and more and more of them. So I apologize for that inconvenience. But let's say some hellos. So hi, Sarah. Good evening to you. Good evening. Wicked marshmallow. Ooh, is that in marshmallow root or the marshmallow that you use at a good old bonfire? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good today. Hey, Tracy. Kim, hi. It's been a while. Terry, thank you for all the hard work you do. And Allison, thank you to you too for all the hard work you do. Avril, nice to see you from Ireland. Wow. Hi, Diane. Joanne, hi, Joanne. Good to see you. Sarah, thanks for joining tonight. Amanda, hello, hello. Elaine, good evening. Hi, Natalie. Ruby. That was my aunt's name, was Ruby. Don't see that name very often. Hi, Jade. Hi, Natalie. Hope I get to it. Hi, Margaret. Thanks for joining tonight. Ireland. Well, welcome. Welcome. Your first time. Welcome. Hi, Julian. And Carrie Ann. Kelly McKeating. Hi. It's been a while. And hi, Diane. You sent your first photo. Yay. Hi, Avril. We have two Avrils. Okay. Hey, Rose. Janine, hi. Like your butterflies. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Angela. I said that very oddly, didn't I? Gemma. Hi, Gemma. Hi, Janie. Deb Clark. Hello, my friend. Hello. All right. Deb is going to be on here. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't know that there was an actual advert with vocals and everything. So, oh, but Deb, yeah, please watch it. Deb is spectacular. She is one of the presenters here on SPTV, and please watch her mediumship. She just kind of goes in the zone as she just goes. It's very free. It's like she's in the zone and she is focused. That is it. So she's wonderful to watch. So please do tune in for that, okay? Or it's actually at the Roebuck Inn, is that right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So who? Uh, last name? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. So yes, how to send in your palm. There should be an email right below my face. Okay, that's where you send the photo of the hand that you write with to. Do not send the hand that you do not write with. And if you're ambidextrous, just mention that in the comments, okay? Because that's a whole other ball of wax. Now, just so that I can mention what ambidextrous people are like, meaning that you use both hands equally, you can write your name with both hands, you do everything equally with both hands. Every ambidextrous person in the 35 years that I have been reading palms, they've all worked for Jet Propulsion Laboratories, NASA, they're all rocket scientists, they're all physicists. They use both sides of their brain equally, and therefore they are constantly thinking, and working problems out, even problems that people don't even really think exist, but they're working out the minutia down to that finest hairline detail of everything that's going on in their lives and for the lives of the people around them. So, yeah, if there's any ambidextrous people on here, I applaud you because I know how tired you do get. But, so, remember, from the wrist all the way out to all the fingertips, okay? That's what you want to make sure is in the photo. And the light should be on it, on the palm, not behind it. Because if it's behind it, it's just going to black out everything that's on the palm. I'm just going to see an outline of the hand. All right, so we have I almost said Macanda. We have Amanda. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. All right, Amanda. So I love your hand. I do. I really love your hand. Has anybody ever told you about being a starseed? I know. Some people don't like the term starseed. I know. I don't know how I feel about the term starseed, to be quite honest with you. About, for myself, I don't know how I feel about it. But if you are interested, you have the hand of a starseed, okay? And what is that? Well, it's all water. It's all water, okay? Now, your fingers are water, your palm is water, and why do I keep saying water for those of you that are new to watching me? Well, in the way that I do palmistry, and there are thousands of different techniques or methodologies of using palmistry, I use 4 elements, okay, which is pretty common practice of using palmistry, okay? So there's earth, air, water, and fire. And then those elements have different types of characteristics that are associated with them, okay? Now, water hands, not just in appearance, those characteristics, but like personality-wise and soul-wise, like the decisions that you make, etc., okay? So, water hands. Water hands are the most intuitive, very psychic, okay? Very, very, well, I will say it, on the emotional side of things, water is or are emotions, okay? So take your pick as to which way you want to go grammar-wise there, okay? So with that, you have very water-like fingers, very water, the length of your palm going up, it's all water. Now, with that, people are just going to be attracted to your energy, and it's a subconscious attraction. Truly it is. But they are going to dump their problems onto you like no tomorrow. It's that attraction, like, the law of attraction, almost water to water, that kind of thing. But here's the situation, is that with water-handed people, they have their own, actually everybody, I should say, has their own problems and their own situations that they are dealing with. Period. Right? That's it. Just boom. We have our own stuff that we deal with. Now, so we have that we don't talk about necessarily with other people, but then other people will be attracted to your energy and just come up and say, hey, guess what, Amanda? You're never going to believe what happened. And they're going to dump their emotions, aka water, onto you, which is already water, and you are just trying to find a place of refuge. Over 100% everything I'm saying. Thank you for verifying that or confirming it. Now, with all that, that's why it's so important to set up boundaries, because when they do that, they're going to be, okay, Amanda, bye, and when they're finished, and then they're just going to walk away because they feel great. They just got all that off their chest, off their shoulders, right? And you're standing there like, what about me? Now I have my own stuff. Now I have their stuff. And you are responding exponentially to not only your own situation, and I have a military helicopter flying over Richard, so it might interfere with what we're doing here. But so you have your own situation with what you are dealing with at home privately, and then you also have your own response to what they said, because you might be upset for them, or you might be upset that they did that. Staying afloat yourself, exactly like what I usually say, which is that water hands are in a little boat trying to find dry land, and every time somebody comes up, they dump water into your boat. You have to stop and get the water out, or else you sink in your own water, right? So that is the type of hand that you have. But what is pointing at, what is like really, really poignantly like staring me in the face, is the fact that you question you, and you can't let that happen. You only question you because people are dumping so much water on you. And this in no way is meant to be derogatory or anything like that. It's just that your wisdom line, which is the center line, here I'll show you on my hand. This is the lifeline, okay? And then the middle line that goes across is the wisdom line. And then the top line is the relationship line, right? Now, your wisdom line kind of just goes down. And then when it's going down into an area which is called the Mount of Luna. So the older you get, you are going to be pulling even more intuitively from inside yourself, answers and responses to people. But that whole area is the moon, right? And the moon controls what? Water. So you are heading into more watery areas. You might, and also your wisdom line gets faint, which means that the older you get, the way that you've kind of set your principles up, your ethics, your personal ethics, the way you work, right, in your mediumship, and you question your ability, right? So you keep questioning you. Now, if you question you, how are other people going to react to that? they're still going to keep dumping water on you, and you have to stay above that water line to breathe because you're human. Remember that. Now, what you do not have is a strong presence line, which some people call a fate line, but I call it a presence line. And it's a line that runs straight up through the center of your hand. You have a very small one toward the bottom of your palm, okay? And what that presence line is how people kind of interpret your energy and how they kind of feel your strength to be. Like, ooh, Amanda's here, that kind of thing, right? Well, you need to believe in you, or else they will not believe in you. You have very, very strong fingers. And the way your ego, which is Jupiter, and Apollo are almost the same length, okay? Apollo is about self-care, about the, herbal arts, about creativity, you name it. And Jupiter is Zeus, ego and self-esteem. Now, the two of those together, you need to focus on. So the more you get involved in what you are studying, you are going to feel better about yourself and you will become more known. But you have to put yourself first with those boundaries. And why I'm pointing like this to the bad middle finger is because Saturn, that's what this finger is, the bad middle finger. Saturn is all about doing. And if you notice, he is the longest finger on your hand, which happens to most people, okay? But he's substantially longer than the rest of your fingers. So you need to stop doing for others and start doing for you, period. That's it. Self-care, 100%. You have to do self-care. And you also cannot refrain from speaking the truth. If it pops in your head for a split second, you know you better say it or else you will regret it. And I mean that just because the old saying, speak now or forever hold your peace. And that's another thing that is adding to your self-questioning and what you are doing. And that is Mercury. Mercury is very long, so you do have a lot to say. And you have a very strong backbone, so you can take on a lot, but you don't need to take on a lot. Because remember, you have to come up for air sometime. So I hope that helped, Amanda. And if you have any questions at all, please just reach out to me, okay? And good luck in your mediumship work. Let me know how that's working out. All right. Well, that was interesting. You guys and your water hands. Over here in the U.S., I get earth hands all the time. In the U.K., I get water hands. Water, water, water. I find it very interesting. Richard just said, well, you are on a small island. I guess that is true. Okay, I have Claire. What was the last name? Okay. Okay. Whitchurch. Hello, Claire. How are you? And what was I saying about earth hands? Psh, Claire. You have an earth hand. You have an earth hand, Claire. Yay, we found an earth hand. All right. Now, earth hands are soil, right? And they never question. Soil never ever questions whether or not to give out nutrients. It just does. So with you, here is the bad, horrible, honest to goodness truth. And I'm going to give it to you like it is, absolutely straight, okay? You have to draw a line in your own nutrients, aka your own earth, and tell other people, no, do not cross this line. And it's going to go against your true nature. It's going to be uncomfortable. But I'm telling you this, you are going to be the only one to defend it, and you are going to be the only one to respect it. So you have to respect you above all else. And earth hands often do not. Okay? Now that's quite a couple statements to start off with, right? Those are pretty strong statements to start the reading off with. But this is what happens because Earth just gives nutrients out freely and doesn't really question where or how much is needed and just keeps giving and giving and giving. What happens when you want to grow something of your own in your own soil, using your own energy and using your own nutrients, if you keep helping everybody else? You're probably not going to have the energy to pursue anything that you have wanted to do. Okay? So that's why I said what I said. Now you have an Achilles heel on your hand, and that is Venus. Some people call this Mars. I say this whole area is Venus, all right? Because there are actually 2 planes of Mars on the hand. Now, with Venus, Venus is all about social interaction. And you have, Venus is very, very large in comparison to the rest of your fingers. The width of Venus and the actual length. And I'm not talking about the nail, I'm talking about the actual finger itself. And where it is placed on the hand says that there is a facet of you, and this, again, is not meant to be demeaning or anything. This is just that one little Achilles heel that you have that's going to make it even harder for you to draw that line. It's because you feel validated when people accept you and say, oh, Claire, good job. You feel validated. So you're going to keep doing more and more and more and more. Now, most earth hands are found on the front lines. When I say the front lines in like professional fields, they are nurses, they are counselors, they are, hospice workers, social workers, people who are spending the most time with people that need the most time, okay? They're never actually the doctor, because the doctor is the one who's in the room for 5 minutes, and then the nurses are the ones that always kind of, help the patient and see things through to the end, right? So if you are in those fields, you are going to, in any of those fields or professions, you are going to have to take care of you. Why is that? Because, again, your fingers say that you put self-care on the back burner. Remember, this is Apollo. I just got through saying that with the other hand, right? And Apollo is about self-care. And the fact that this finger is curving in toward your palm when you were taking the picture means that you will put yourself on the back burner in order to take care of others. Also, the fact that Mercury, which is all about stating the truth of the situation that's in front of you, everything that you're seeing, everything that you are going through, he is also curving toward your palms, just the tip of him. But that means that you will not put up that fight to demand like retribution almost, like, hey, you weren't there at 2 o'clock, that kind of thing. So you will not stand up for yourself when backed into that corner. You just keep doing. Now, here's the interesting thing, is that with your fingers, not only is Saturn curving toward Apollo just a little bit, and Apollo curving toward Saturn, which means that you kind of, if you were to go into an entrepreneurial kind of a job kind of situation, you would go very far, because you have a creative vision that a lot of other people don't have, all right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Now, the other thing is, yep, I know you do. Yep. Now, the other thing is that your relationship line, which is the top line again, remember, and your wisdom line, do not feel you need to isolate yourself because people keep coming at you and just needing help and needing this and needing that. What you need to find are people who are air hands. And you are probably like, what's an air hand, Rachel? What's an air hand? Well, you're going to secretly and covertly go around looking at people's hands. But you need to look up what an air hand looks like so I can save some time here. And those are the people you need to surround yourself with, okay? Also, maybe a couple fire-handed people. Now, because they are not going to demand those nutrients. They're just not. They're not, especially the air-handed people. Air-handed people are their own entity. They have their own strength. And also, another interesting fact about your hand is do not ever let any palm reader say anything about your lifeline being short. Because I have read an 80-year-old lady whose lifeline was maybe half an inch long, and she was sitting right across from me. And she was talking to me with like the feistiness of a, I don't know, 16-year-old. So don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise about that, okay? But being an earth hand, you're also probably an empath, so you can pick up on what you feel, what others feel very easily, and you will try to fix those problems. And sometimes other people aren't even aware that they're having the problems. So don't open up a wound that they don't know that they have. Save that energy. Save your energy, okay? And I hope that helped, Claire, okay? Because I could go on and on with your hand, but I really, really could, with earth hands especially. But just understand that you have to respect and you have to defend the boundary that you draw. You have to. You have, let's see there, I told you. Now, you have to respect and you have to defend the boundary that you draw in that soil, which is you, your nutrient, your energy. Because unfortunately, everybody's going to be attracted to you on a vibe situation, and they are going to want and need and say, hey, Claire, what if? Hey, Claire, should I? Hey, Claire, do you think? Hey, Claire, what if I did this? Claire, do you think I should? They're always going to do it. Always. So respect yourself. And I hope that helped, Claire, okay? And if you have any questions, reach out to me, all right? And it was a pleasure and an honor getting to read your hand. All right. So let me take a quick drink of water here. Okay. So who do we have next, Richard? What? No, I don't know that show. Mm-hmm. Nope, I don't know. I have never heard of that, but it sounds very interesting. You should hear what Richard is telling me right now, okay? One day, I will shut these things off and they'll be able to hear what you're saying. One day. One day. One day. Oh, you'll get quiet? I doubt it. Right. Melanie. Melanie Wellens. Hello. And remember what I was saying about those air hands? Claire, you have an air hand, Melanie. So this is what an air hand looks like, Claire, okay? So, Melanie, air. First off, let me describe to you the power that you probably don't even understand that you have. You have such strength and such power, and it's one of the most underrated strengths of when it comes to the elements. I think, in my opinion, doing this for so long, because let's think of it this way. Let's envision somebody that has come across as your friend for quite a while, right? And you had an argument, and now they're in a boat and they want to go somewhere, and they're like, "Hey, Melanie, could you put some wind in my sails and help me get to where I need to go?" You can either be like, "Okay, yeah, sure," or you can be like, "Hmm, no, don't think so." Or you can even be a little bit more vindictive and be like, "No, I think I'm going to push you right back all the way to the very beginning where you started and push them all the way back to where they almost left." That is the power of an air hand, an air element hand, okay? And that is the strength that you have, the ability that you have. Air hand people don't necessarily have to be around others. It's that others need to be around you so that you can put the wind in their sails and that you can help them out of certain jams or certain, situations, so to speak. And on your hand, you have a lot of lines, a lot of little fine lines. But your fingers themselves are placed and spaced very nicely. But there's one that is really, really low, and that is Mercury. Okay? Now, Mercury is the one who is the backbone. He's the one who is going to tell it like it is. So, with him almost being below the first ring on Apollo up here, now with that, how do I put this? You hold back too much. And so you do not unleash that power when you know full well that you probably should. You will not unleash that wind, that power, that source that you have in order to be able to help people, or to just be like, no, I don't want to. And sometimes, more often than not, you really should just tell them to help themselves. Because there is a fine line between helping and enabling. And unfortunately, according to the line work that you have, there are a lot of people that have taken advantage of the situation that they have with you. having you nearby, okay? And they have asked you repeatedly to put wind in their sails and to help them propel forward in life, whereas you have kind of been in the background like, hey, what about me? Now, the other thing is that you have a lot of different lines on your hand, a presence line that goes down into the Mount of Luna or Selene. And so that what that says is that you are thinking, the older you get, you are going to be thinking and pulling from this area when it comes to the decisions that you make. So you're going to be listening to your intuition and you're going to be listening to your gut when it comes to actually helping people, which is good because Apollo, which is about self-care, is very, very long on your hand and is actually the same length as Zeus. So you have a balance there between ego and between actually helping others and helping yourself. But when it comes to pointing out the truth, you will just swallow it. If something bad happens, you will just be like, and hold on to it. And that is not healthy. That is not healthy to hold on to things, especially if somebody needs to be told exactly what they did wrong, okay? I'm telling you, you need to speak up, and you do not. And thank you for confirming that for me. Now, another thing is that you do have, and there's no judgment here, okay? And it's very brave for all of you to put your palms up on the internet, but you do have some lines that were caused by other people. Now, that is over in here in this whole area called the Mount of Venus, okay? This big puffy area at the base of the thumb. Now, you have a lot of lines that cut through your lifeline, go over to your wisdom line, and even your relationship line. So pay attention to anxiety, pay attention to stress, pay attention to the feelings that certain people give you. Because why? You did not open up and call them out for who they were. I'm not actually laying blame here because sometimes it is very hard for us to do that. So I'm not laying blame. But I am saying if you tell the right people what has gone on, you will feel this release. You will feel such relief and such a release that you have never felt before. Now, you also have a very independent way of doing things, which is found with air hands because of the shape of your thumb. So, as I said before, when I was talking to Claire about air hands, right? Now, with that, you can take people or you can leave them. You don't really 100% need them. You do not need them to be like, oh, Melanie, you did such a great job. You don't really need that. You appreciate it, but you don't really need that. So with that, I hope that I helped you a little bit. And if you have any questions at all, because you also have some self-doubt underneath Jupiter, which is your ego, and also some self-doubt, you understand? Okay. And also underneath Mercury, and also underneath Apollo. So you have self-doubt everywhere just because you keep swallowing and holding that stuff down. And that stuff that you keep holding down and holding on to is stuff that you should actually be telling people about. Imagine if you could have that freedom. How would you feel? I'm going to quote Star Trek now. Make it so. Make it so. Make it so. Do it, Melanie. Do it. So I hope that helped. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me, okay? And I do know how hard it is to do what I just said. I really do. So just baby step it. Baby step it. And if you have questions about that even, just contact me. All right. So who do we have next? Someone. We have someone next. I like that. Olivia, your pictures were all corrupt. And that is a quote from Richard, the producer. Okay. Elaine. Okay. Good evening. Hello, hello. Ooh, look at you and your fieriness. Now, you have a combination hand, Elaine. You have a combination earth-fire hand. Now, your palm is fire, because if you were to draw a line around your palm, you would get a square. Okay, so that's what makes a fire palm. Now, your fingers. You have 3 that are fire and 2 that are earth. Now, the earthy ones, the ones that are going to be giving to everybody, are these 2. So it is Jupiter and Saturn. Okay? Now, the other ones are all fire. So we have Apollo, we have Mercury, and we even have Venus. That is all fire. And that is because of the height of them, okay, and the width of them. So, with all that being said, I'm going to ask you, what does fire and earth have in common? Nobody tell her, okay? If you've watched before, nobody tell her if you've watched before. Now, there is one thing that they have in common, and that is that they both need to be fed. So you have a very volatile combination. Not as volatile as a earth-water hand, okay? But you have a volatile combination in that people are going to keep coming and coming and coming for your nutrients that you have in a few of your fingers. And they're also going to be coming to you for the warmth that you provide. And so what happens to a fire if it's not fed? It burns out, right? And what happens to a garden or a plant if you just keep using the same dirt over and over again and planting things in it without putting nutrients into that soil? Nothing will grow after a while, right? So both of them need to be fed. And people are going to be attracted to both of those qualities that you have, Elaine, on a subconscious level. Now, you have very interesting features on your hand, and one of them is this feature over here, which is in the mount of Luna, because it looks very pillow-like. Like if you were to actually do this to it, that it would be very, very squishy, like a little pillow, right? Now, what that means, dependent upon how much give it has, it will show exactly how much ability you do actually have in that area, which is an area of empathy and being an empath. And most fiery earth hands are empaths, to be quite honest with you, okay? Now, also, you have a very, very strong belief system, strong lifeline, strong wisdom line, and a very deep relationship line. So you feel things on a different level than a lot of the people around you. And that is also because of the fieriness that you have in your palm. Now, when it comes to your hand, what does it mean that you have these different gods and a goddess that are these different elements, right? A mishmash of elements. Well, it means that Zeus, I'm going to get my pen here, Zeus, being very earth-like, is actually more of a giving kind of personality. So you would rather give to boost your self-esteem. And also with Saturn, you will do things for people. But if you notice, Saturn and Jupiter or Zeus are almost the same length. So you, Elaine, if you're still here, can you please comment? I know sometimes we get caught up in what I'm saying, but if you could just comment. And I'm going to keep going, but so with these two fingers being the same length, it also means that you will do only up to a certain point for others, and you will expect to have them return the favor. And that's okay. That's okay. Because what happens most of the time, though, with earth and fire combination hands is that people do not return the favor, which is why you have a lot of isolation areas in between your wisdom and your relationship line, and you kind of keep to yourself. And it's okay. I understand. Your relationship line is very thready. You're still here? Okay. So it is very thready, so meaning it comes in and out. It's very strong, but it comes in and out, which means that your feelings about people come in and out, right? Meaning like, oh, I want to be around people. No, I don't want to be around people. I don't need anybody, right? Which is quite understandable, especially if they're just going to keep taking and taking. Now, here's my advice to you when it comes to seeing that line and knowing that your two communicators, Apollo and Mercury, are both fire. Now, when it comes to them both being fire and the fact that you have a thready relationship line, please do not burn your bridge while standing on it. How are you going to get to the other side, one way or the other? And that Richard singing Blondie to me, so you'll have to forgive me. Anyway, or forgive him. Hello. No, because if you burn your bridge, and it's very easy to do with that fiery passion that you do have locked in you if somebody wrongs you. Now understand, you're not, the water that you sink into is going to put out your fire and drown your garden, and everything's going to be destroyed. Okay? So do not burn the bridge while standing on it, meaning do not go out there and get rid of relationships and just weed through people and just get rid of people from your life willy-nilly. Don't do it. Really focus on those people and what they have done and what those relationships are like, because sometimes, yeah, a hand like yours does not need people, but they will need you. But remember, that's just because you are the stronger one. So let that sink in. You're the stronger one, okay? That's why they come to you. So I hope that helped, Elaine. And if you have any questions, like I've been saying, you just get in contact with me, okay? Rachel G. Palmistry. Just look me up. And I hope you don't burn that bridge. I'm being serenaded now. Now it's not. Oh, because I'm worth it. I just got compliments to everybody. Alright. So, who do we have next, Richard? Mm-hmm. Now, everybody, do not cut the thumb off or do not cut the fingertips off because I need to see how long the fingers are in comparison to other fingers, because each finger has its own characteristic and its own strength, its own weakness, etc., etc. Ooh, the wind is picking up. Okay. That's all right. Don't worry about it. All right. So, ooh, again, Starseed, Water Hand. Water Hand, Kayla. Oh, I didn't know that. All right. So, Richard's saying that you guys are asking what star seeds are. So, what a star seed is have you ever heard the term Palladian or Syrian or what were the other ones? Well, anyway, it refers to people that are actually of alien descent, if you believe in all that. Now, star seeds mean that at some point in your past life, you could have been on a different planet, you could have been in a different dimension. It's this whole theory. It's all theoretical, right? So that's what I mean. It's up to you what you personally believe, but there are certain types of hands that have the characteristics of different star seeds, meaning from different planets, from different etc., based on different accounts. Okay, so I hope that you follow what I'm saying there. Accounts meaning like, actual alien encounter kind of things, like, oh, Palladian has this type of hand right here, the kind of hand that Kayla has. Now, very long, very, very long, wider fingers, very, very long palm, very irregularly shaped palm, very, very Palladian-like. It's very Palladian-like. Now, with that, you can look into it, but star seeds are also known to be highly empathic, highly, highly intuitive, psychic, you name it, okay? Because they are of a higher frequency when it comes to their vibration. So that is what a starseed is. Now, Kayla, there's one finger that I can see on your hand that doesn't match. Which one of these fingers do not go with the others? It's like a Sesame Street thing. Now, that would be Mercury. Good old Mercury. Now, Mercury is just a plain old earth finger. Everything else is all water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink, right? Now, Zeus, very long, very, very long. Saturn, very, very long. Apollo, very, very short, but not as diminutive and not as narrow and not as short as Mercury. Kayla. Now, here's the thing, is that people are going to be coming to you, as you probably heard me say, right? It's like you're in a little boat, and Richard's heard me say this too many times over 3 years, but I'm going to use it again right now. You're in a little boat, and you're trying to find dry land because you're a water hand, and people just all of a sudden just come right up to you like, ooh, and they're rowing right up to you, and they're like, guess what, Kayla, guess what, guess what? And they just dump all their problems on you, and you just sit there, and you're like, what the hell, right? And then they row away, and you have to stop rowing, to find dry land, you have to stop what you're doing and get that water out of your boat. Because next thing you know, there's somebody else coming over and they're going to dump more water on your boat, in your boat. And what happens if too much water gets in that boat? You are going to sink and go underwater. And you're never going to reach dry land. And that is the goal and the need of somebody who does have a water hand, is to reach dry land, meaning an area where they can feel safe and just kind of take that deep breath and be like, oh, that sigh of relief. Like, nobody is putting anything on me. Nobody is, expecting anything of me. Nobody is putting their problems on me. And that is why I find it really interesting that you have this little earth finger. Now, I'm gonna say it's an earth finger. I almost said it was a fire. I almost switched to say it was a fire finger. Well, I'm gonna say it's an earth finger. But the other fingers are just so long in comparison, okay? Except for Apollo. So you need to understand that in order for you to persevere and to keep moving forward, you have to take care of yourself. You do. So when that little voice is inside of you saying, we can't do this, we can't take on their problems, we can't listen to what they have to say, you do need to walk away. You do. You do need to get up out of the room, say, excuse me, really can't do this right now. Make whatever excuses you have to, but get out from under that waterfall, okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, Kayla, if you are still here, can you please comment something? I know sometimes we get caught up in just listening to what I have to say, okay? Just so that we know that you're still here. Now, the other thing is that you actually have a line underneath Apollo, even though Apollo is very short on your hand. If you were to actually use Apollo and take care of yourself, meaning put yourself first, you have a line that is trying to move horizontal. And when it does, pay attention to it. It's right here. I hope you can see. It's right here, almost close to where you would wear a ring. And if it goes horizontal, it is a success line. And that means that if you were to do something in the self-care field, you would have great success, even like creatively speaking. If you were to decide to become a painter or do something creative or have some creative input in whatever, it would be very successful, okay? And also, you're going to be holding people at arm's length the older that you get, based on the line work that you have, and that is already starting to happen. And I understand, and it's taking you a long time to kind of grow into your shoes to see who you are. And Kayla, I hope that helped. You're not answering, so we're going to assume that you are not here. And you can always come back and view what I did have to say about your hand. But because there's a lot more I could say. There's a lot more I could say. But just take care of yourself is the gist of it. Just take care of you first. Above all, take care of you. Listen to your instincts. Listen to your instincts. All right. Okay. Okay, good. All right, Jade. Woo! You just spread your hand out. All right. It's like, hey, I'm here. All right. All right. Well, first off, look at how evenly spaced the majority of your fingers are on your hand, Jade. And you have an earth hand too. Another earth hand. Yay. All right. Jade's still here. Good. All right. Okay, good. So, Jade, first off, right off the bat, you have a really strong lifeline. Really strong lifeline. Now, just so we remember, the lifeline is what goes around this way, okay? And then we have the wisdom line that goes through the middle. And then the very top line that goes across is actually the relationship line. Well, I put my pen up too far, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, your relationship line. Jade, please excuse me. I always have an itch at the tip of my nose when I've been doing readings lately. What does that mean? That's got to mean something. Anyway, so with your relationship line, you have a lot of chaining. And I get it because you already feel, Jade, that people are coming at you and asking you, Jade, should I? Jade, what if I did this? And they want your input and your nutrients and you to guide them and make the decisions for them. And let me tell you why, Jade. Because it's much easier sometimes to have other people make decisions for you, because then you have other people to blame then, don't you? If something goes wrong. And I say this because of something I'm picking up about you. So, also, on your relationship line, you have a tendency to isolate as well because you are an earth hand. You don't want people that are going to be around you being Jade this, Jade that, Jade, right? Constantly taking those nutrients. And if you weren't here before in the very beginning, I'm going to say it again. Earth hands have to draw a line in their soil, in their nutrients. And they're going to be the only one to defend that line of boundary, and they're going to be the only one to respect it. But man, do you have to respect and defend that boundary, because everybody's going to try to cross it. Because even yourself at times, because what does Earth do? Earth is soil, and it naturally, just without question, pumps out nutrients to people and nutrients to plants and seeds and everything that gets put into that soil. So people are going to want to plant themselves in your life because you will be the one to hold everything together. Very recently learned to draw that line after having all my nutrition drained, your nutrition drained away. I like that. So also another thing that is on your hand is that you have to believe in you. You have to believe in you. Your wisdom line is broken, which means that certain situations happened with people and it made you question the choices and the decisions that you made, okay? And the wisdom line, again, is this second line that goes right through the middle of the three major lines, okay? It's this one right here. Now, with that break, you formed new opinions, new ideologies, new ethics, right? New way of doing your life. And I give you kudos and props for that, okay? Now, you also have certain, how do I put this? Well, first off, you are an empath, okay? But your Mercury line, Mercury finger, I should say, is farther away than the rest of the fingers. So you have the ability to speak up, but you won't speak up unless you are put into the corner, which happens a lot with earth-handed people because they help. And they just help incessantly. They just help provide those nutrients to whoever needs help. Now, the other thing on your hand is that you don't really have a very strong presence line. You're very welcome, Jade. Now, the other thing is that you don't have a very strong presence line. It's rather scattered, rather broken across your hand. And that just means that you have had to evolve and you've had to change you because of what people have done to you, because of the situations that have happened to you in your life. And that happens. But understand that that line, well, this is, look at me. I'm going on and on for over an hour, and I forgot to say one of the most important things about palmistry, everybody. This line, the lifeline, the wisdom line, and the relationship line, they're never going to change, including the fingerprints, right? They actually form on you, and you understand what I'm talking about, Jade. Good. So those lines, they actually form on you when you are 4 to 5 weeks old in the womb, in utero. Okay, it's like a stamp that's put on you, right? So all these other lines that are on the hand, including the lines that come off of those major lines, they change every 6 to 8 weeks. So Jade, when I'm talking about your presence line, right, which should be like running right up through here, and how it's kind of all over the place, right? There's a piece here, there's a piece here. That is you trying to figure you out after kind of picking up the pieces and starting over again. That can change in 6 to 8 weeks. That's probably changed a lot throughout your life in all actuality. And you have such a great energy about you. Your lifeline is very, very great. And of course, there was an episode where somebody did kind of aggravate you and cause that break in your wisdom line. And it's right across from it. It shows up on the lifeline, and it's right across from the wisdom line, and that's where that break occurs. And I'm very sorry that that happened, but you will be much wiser for it. You will be, because you will be becoming you. So please be creative. Go out there, be absolutely 100% creative, and just be you. But defend your nutrients at all costs. And I hope that helped you, Jade. I hope that helped. Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. And again, Jade, if you have any questions at all, you can absolutely get in contact with me about anything I said tonight, all right? So again, everybody, I'm going to be pulling some cards now. Guardian of the Night by M.J. Cullinane, okay? This is actually the High Priestess card in this deck. Giant fruit bat. So, and don't forget to read my article in the magazine on sptv.uk. And you can also become a patron of SPTV and keep these readings free for everybody. Because there is a VIP night tomorrow night, actually. And is that the Deb? Oh, Bib Charles. Ooh, you see down at the bottom of the screen? Read that, everybody. If you become a patron of SBTV, you could actually watch this. And Bib Charles is wonderful. Really, really wonderful. She's actually sister to, what's her name? Ellie Charles. Okay. Okay, so who do we have first for a card? Kim. Kim. Hello, Kim. Good to see you. Let's shuffle here. All right, now these are tarot cards, not oracles. These are direct situation cards, okay? Oh, and just so you know, they've had a piece of solar quartz, non-dyed solar quartz, which is really a stalactite or stalagmite that has been cut in half, cut right in the middle, and that's what it looks like when it's not dyed. I just love it. I just love it. But anyway, so that's what I have been working with tonight. So let's get your card. Ah, what new energy do you have here, Kim? You have some new energy. You have some new things in the works that you are going to be focusing on. Now, keep in mind, people are going to be waiting for you to fail at this. And that's just that's the truth of the matter. Okay, this is a fire card. So they're going to be waiting for you to lose interest in it because this is the page, okay? This is the one who's going to bring the message. This is the one who's going to bring that spark. This is the one who's going to be like, hey, guess what? So they're going to wait on you to lose interest. And it's up to you. You can decide to follow through with the message, or you can just be like, oh, I think I don't want to do it. But it's entirely up to you. Okay. I think I know what it is. I have a hair on my face. Oh, Richard, you are full of compliments tonight. You're so full of it. No, if you guys only knew what was being said to me right now, because I said that my face is you're making my face red. Stop. You're making my face red. Okay. All right, Olivia. Here we go. The Queen of Wands. We have another fire card. Now, with this card, we see you. Ooh. And you are being handed the wand by a crow. All right? Now, here's the interesting thing with this card is that we have all of these sunflowers blooming at night. Sunflowers do not bloom at night. They do not. They bloom when the sun is out. So, and they follow the light of the sun. So understand, they are facing the viewer, and you are the viewer. You are the sun. You are the one who is bringing the light to the situation that is the Queen of Wands. And what do I mean by all that? Jibber jabber, right? I mean, you are stronger than you know. You're the Queen of Fire. You can burn down any bridge you want, or you can leave any bridge you want. You can do whatever you want with the fire that you have. You are a lioness, okay? Use your strength accordingly. You're the queen. Queen of Fire. All right. And that's also with the situation that's going on right now in your life. All right, so who else do we have? Julie. Okay. You're very welcome. Oh, we have an air card, actually. It's the swords, the Two of Swords. So this is a very, well, combat card. I hope you can see the ghost-like hands that are coming out here, and they are handling and managing the swords. And this poor little frog, which is prosperity, is like, oh my goodness, I'm on a sword, and the sword has two sides. So he's probably hurting himself. So understand that this conflict between you and somebody else is actually damaging prosperity for both of you, okay? Meaning the luck, prosperity, all that type of stuff that goes with the meaning of a nice little frog. It's a mess. It's a mess. So a sword has two edges. One side that faces you that can hurt you, and the other side which can cut people out of your life. But that other sword that is facing you has the same capability. So concentrate on whether or not you really want to be having this conflict. All right? Okay. Okay. Louise, hello. Okay, here we go. The Ten of Swords. The damage has been done, Louise. And we even have, oh, I can't remember the name of this type of bird. It's not a grackle. It's a, oh, well, anyway, obviously you can see that this is not the proper bird that should be in this nest, right? Grackles are famous for actually booting out the eggs of other birds' nests and laying their own eggs, and then the birds will just raise those hatchlings as their own. And obviously the damage has been done, because down here we have the hatchlings that belong to those birds, these little tiny birds up here, kind of just with 10 swords in it, and that was very graphic imagery. So there's nowhere to go but up from here. The damage has been done. It's almost like the Julius Caesar thing. Et tu, Brute, you too, Brutus, that kind of thing, right? All the damage has been done. There's nowhere to go but up. Things will get better for you. They will. Okay. But pay attention to somebody who is really kind of being a pretender in the situation, almost an imposter, because it's not very often that card shows up. Hello, Kim. Hello. Kim says hello, Richard. Yeah, we have the Ten of Wands. So everything you have in your power, this is a fire card, Kim, is being thrown at the situations around you. And I mean everything. You are trying your hardest to get to where you need to be. Absolute hardest you are trying. But those wands just keep flying out of the water. All the emotions and everything just keep hitting you. And this is a fire card, but yet there is emotion, meaning water. So every time the anger comes up and the water, the emotion comes up, it's just a vicious, vicious cycle. And this is 10, meaning everything you have, including the kitchen sink, is being thrown at the situation to try to make things better. And the next card after this is the messenger or the page, okay? So understand that, wait for messages from the universe. Pay close attention to your dreams. because you will have answers. And listen to your intuition on this one, Kim, because if you're here, you're probably very intuitive, okay? Or else you wouldn't be watching SPTV. Let's just be honest here, okay? Let's just be honest. Alright, so who do we have next? Diane. Hello, Diane. I think I recognize your name. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Let's get a card. We have the Five of Swords. Now, the interesting thing with this card is that all the swords are down, meaning that this is all done. The swords can be pulled out, but the damage has been done. Okay? All the trees have been cut. You are out of place. You feel out of place. Everything is out of place. As you notice, this is a cityscape back here. And we have this deer here. And it's just, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong with this whole scenario. Fives are change. Fives are change across the boards. And 5 is also conflict. So understand, this is an emotional hurt. This is an emotional pain that has to do with this card because it's somebody who is completely out of place because of the things that have happened in their life. And so much love to you, Diane, and take it easy on yourself, okay? Take it easy. Because it will get better. 6s are known as triumph, and that's going 1 up. Numerologically speaking, okay? Okay. Christine, hey there, lady. Okay. All right. Guess what you have? You have a major Arcana card. You have the Star. You have the Star, and look at how beautiful this card is. We have all of these poppies for remembrance. We also have a female cardinal up here. Now, the thing with the Star is that for as much as that is given, it's like the Star recirculates everything. There is a constant motion of what comes and goes, comes back around again. So understand that there is much that the universe is willing to give to you right now. It's just whether or not you are ready to receive. And I feel that you are ready to receive it, especially with all of these poppies and everything. So there is a lot of memories that are being brought up. There's a lot of thought. There's a lot of almost processing, if you understand what I mean, that you are going to have to go through to accept these gifts. But it is all about whether or not you are willing to receive from the universe. And Christine, you deserve it. Major Arcana card stands for major change, like switching an on-off switch and a light switch in a room. That kind of, going from dark to light to dark, that very sudden, drastic life change. Whereas the minor Arcana is just very everyday to day kind of situations. Okay, so I hope that helped, Christine. It was good seeing you too. All right, well, I think that is it for me today, in all actuality. So I would like to thank all of you for tuning in. And if you did share out, because I always forget to say, please share out, and then I regret it afterward. But if you did, thank you very much. And please remember to check out sptv.uk, become a patron, and check out the VIP show that we have tomorrow with Bib Charles. And also, don't forget Deb Clark is going to be at the Roebuck Inn. And Deb, wonderful. Bib, wonderful. And help keep SPTV free for everybody. All these readings are free for everyone that was on tonight. So, and if you have any questions at all about anything that I said, remember, you can find me. Just look for the tag Rachel G. Palmistry, okay? And remember, if anybody approaches you using my name, they're not me. They're not me. Not me, okay? So just report them. Do whatever you have to do, because I have tried and I have tried and tried and tried, but I cannot get them off of different platforms. So I apologize for that inconvenience, and I apologize for the insanity. I have nothing to do with it. It's out of my hands. So again, remember, you are loved, and take it easy on yourself. And try to stay chill. I hear it's very, very warm in the UK right now. So everybody take care, and I wish you a good night. Bye.
Leslie Moulton joins us tomorrow with a guided meditation. The show starts from 11 a.m. SPTV are proud to present an evening of mediumship with the wonderful Deb Clark. Join us for a private event on the 20th of August 2022 at the Roebuck Inn, Wickham. For more details visit events.spiritualpsychicstv.online.